Rico McGee, special episode of the Rulers Minute, man. This is the Super Bowl pre-show of the Rulers Minute, man. I got my man Romel from 216 Sports Network. Hit up 4th and 15 anytime. I got a special guest joining us, my man Dave, my flag
Yes,
football
sir.
teammate, man. Awesome dude, man. Very knowledgeable of the game, man. Played college football. Two Collinwood alums, man. Thank y'all for joining me this afternoon. How y'all feeling?
I'm very excited, man. I'm very excited to get on here for the first time.
Just so you know, your show is about to jump in ratings and views because Collinwood alumni is on your show.
Yeah. And I'm a legend, man. So it's definitely going up in numbers.
Actually, I was the legend. He came behind that. But anytime you got Collinwood on your show, the show is gonna do numbers.
I
Yeah.
appreciate y'all coming, man, as always, man. So, without further ado, we're going to get right to it, man. So, Super Bowl is here. Another Super Bowl is upon us, man. Eagles, Chiefs, second time in 3 years that these two done met in the Super Bowl. Let's start with the tail of the tape, man. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. You see it right here on the screen, and it's going to be I think it's going to be a dogfight, man, because in my opinion, I think Jalen Hurts is probably the second best quarterback after Patrick Mahomes. What does Philly have to do to beat Kansas City? Anybody can start.
Realistically, limit the turnovers. Not that they have a problem with that, but we've all seen how opportunistic the Chiefs are when it comes to turnovers. Patrick Mahomes obviously will make you pay if he gets a turnover and you give him good field position. The second thing I would say is Saquon Barkley has to be, if you're the Chiefs and you're trying to win this game, Saquon Barkley has to be eliminated. And I don't mean slowed down. Like you've seen what happens when you slow him down. He's still Washington thought they slowed him down and he ends up going for 80 yards on the touchdown run. You have to take Saquon completely out of this game and make Philly one dimensional. On the other side of that, defensively, you got to get after Jalen Hurts. If you don't get after Jalen Hurts, he can do what Mahomes does. He can move the pocket, he can throw on the run. This is a situation where if we were paying attention to the last Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl, Mahomes got outplayed. I don't care how you swing it, Mahomes got outplayed for 3.5 quarters. The problem was you gave him 4 minutes. The score was too close to call, and all of a sudden you look up, you blink twice, Mahomes is in the end zone. So if you're KC, eliminate Saquon Barkley, make this offense one dimensional, and keep Jalen Hurts on his back. We've all seen when Jalen Hurts gets hit, it takes a toll on him. So for me, those two things are essential. Take Saquon out the game, and then keep Jalen Hurts on his back.
Well, to me, I think it's pretty simple, man. If I'm the Chiefs, I just got to keep doing Chief things, man. You know, these guys, they're known just for winning. No matter, what I'm saying, how the game starts, even if they get down 20 points, man, it's like all they got to do is put the ball in 15's hand, and he's going to make something happen. Uh, Realistically, I think the big pressure, like you said, is going to be on the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line because them Eagles boys, them Eagles D linemen, that guy Jalen Carter, he's real. Like Devontae Graham, real. Like those guys really know how to get after the rush. And realistically, the real secret to defeating Patrick Mahomes is, the defensive lineman. If you look back at that Super Bowl against him in Tampa Bay, he was running for his life the entire game. So the only way, what I'm saying, for the Chiefs to blow the game for real is if their O linemen do not show up. Otherwise, man, it's gonna be a long day. And even if the Chiefs go down, like I said, 20 points, 14 points, right, Patrick Mahomes, he's just unstoppable. Like he just literally makes the right plays, and it's just all on that offensive line. The offensive line shows up. There's no way Kansas City Chiefs lose.
Well, I have to say this since you brought up the offensive line. Keep in mind, this is not the same offensive line from the first time they met. This offensive line has been depleted. This offensive line is not the strong suit of the Chiefs. Yes, they are serviceable, but this is not the same offensive line that kept Mahomes upright in that first Super Bowl. I'm willing to bet Nick Sirianni, a Mount Union alumni, and we've also seen what Mount Union does defensively, even though they got stomped in the national championship.
Still close.
But realistically, Mount Union's defensive line carried their defense a lot of those games in the playoffs. So if Nick Sirianni is anything like we've seen him to be, their defensive scheme is going to look a lot different this tonight. I
Mhm.
can I'm not going to guarantee it, but I'm willing to bet there's a defensive scheme we have not seen from the Eagles all year, and I think he pulls it out the hat tonight.
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel like though, to kind of go back and with that is Patrick Mahomes is the guy that I feel like you just can't outsmart. Like he just reminds me of Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady.
Nah, he
Like
ain't Brady-ish. Brady could move.
yeah,
Brady was a stick.
yeah, you're
Brady was a
right.
statue in the pocket. I don't see the relevant.
The
I don't see the
IQ,
relevance in that.
IQ is
As
it's
far as
like
maybe just him being a winner, yeah, but I
Winner,
mean,
yes, but
like
him being
I
in the
remember Nate
pocket
Clemens
and being
cracked
able to
Tom
move.
Brady.
yeah. What? But what's their record? What is the Kansas City Chiefs record? They're
Overall, shoot, I think they only lost what 1 or 2 games.
exactly.
Yeah,
What that screams winner, man. And the whole year, and
Here,
it sounds
here's
like
the
right
thing.
now I'm rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs, but for the entire year, it seems
Records,
like
y'all look at these records and y'all talk like these records are meaningful. Let's look at reality here, man.
very
This is
proven though.
Yeah, they're proven in a weak division. Like you got the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chargers. You have not been touched in like 8 years for real. When was the last time anybody realistically, when was the last time anybody outside of Kansas City won that division?
shoot,
Yeah, yeah.
Broncos
Let's
Even with
wasn't.
Alex Smith, they were winning. You're right.
yes. So we're gonna go back. The last time anybody really realistically won that division outside of Kansas City would have been 2011. 2016, the AFC West winners go as such. 2016, Chiefs. 2017, Chiefs. 2018, Chiefs. 19, Chiefs. 20, Chiefs. 21, Chiefs. 22, Chiefs. 23, Chiefs. 24, Chiefs. That's almost 10 years. That is 10 years. That's 10 years worth of seeing the Chiefs win the AFC West. It's a weak division. You got 8 automatic wins, unless an act of God or act of the football gods, rather. Unless an act of the football gods happens next year and Bo Nix decides he wants to play better than he has been. And
You can
Justin
say that
Herbert,
about any division though, when they have a
not
dominant quarterback,
necessarily,
because that's the same with the Patriots.
but
Like I said,
the AFC East is going to be weak no matter what. We ain't even talking about the East. You got one. The Jets ain't been credible, and God knows how long. The Dolphins, they'll be a thorn in the Patriots' ass. They'll be a thorn in Buffalo's ass. Because if you remember, there was a time Jim Kelly could not beat Dan Marino, but yet he was always winning that division.
mhm.
So I'm not even going to compare those two. What I am saying is it's unfair that we can throw out the Chiefs record and they've been in a weak division because they haven't lost more than 5 division games in 10 years. That's not fair. Like they sweep that division every year. They've swept it at least for the last 3. I'm yes, 17-2 is a lot to talk about, but you get what 8 wins automatically?
I
You
mean,
8 wins
yeah,
are not guaranteed.
I didn't get a chance to make my point as far as who would win, as far as
I
what Philly needs to
apologize.
do. No, you good, bro. You good. You good, man. You good. Philly has to establish a run game. If they could, Kansas City's run defense is sus.
Very.
They have a suspect run defense. You could run the ball on these teams. I think what caused Buffalo, part of that was they got away from that a little bit. But I think in order for Philly to win this game, it's gonna have to be you're gonna have to establish that run. You're gonna have to establish the run game. And Saquon Barkley is a running back that you could definitely do it with, and the Eagles have the offensive line. So I think if
You do?
Philly wants to win this game, they're going to have to establish the run game, and that's really it.
I don't. I since we're
Not
on the
it,
flip side
but
of that,
Yeah.
since we're on the flip side of that, I'm gonna say this. I don't think they have to establish the run and like stick with it. What I'm gonna say is put Barkley in positions where the Chiefs defense has to make a decision.
mm,
Because if you've looked at the last 2 playoff games with the Eagles, I'm especially gonna point out the Eagles Washington game.
I knew that was the one you were going to. It wasn't close though from the beginning.
It doesn't matter if it was close or not. If you look at the entirety of what they did, they put Saquon in positions, they flanked him out, they put him in the passing game, they screen game. They put him in positions where the Washington defense had to make a decision, and the decision they made was generally a bad decision. This is something you can do with the Chiefs because the Chiefs defense is not what it was the first time they played. If you have a defense that is aggressive, you can make them be in this position where their aggressiveness is now a problem. And then when it turns to better safe than sorry, now you're going to be looking at this from a whole different perspective because now you're going to see a lot more zone than you would man. Kansas City's safeties and DBs, their whole secondary, are very good at playing man coverage. The problem is when you put them in positions where they have to make decisions on the fly, they have not been very good. The thing that has bailed them out is the fact that their defense in their front seven is very aggressive. That's a battle that they might lose, considering Saquon is one of the best pass catching backs we've seen in the last 5 years, not named Derrick Henry or Nick Chubb.
Yeah. I would say though, to be honest, if I'm the Eagles, man, it's just you gotta limit the amount of times that Patrick Mahomes gets the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not a drive where you think when Patrick Mahomes gets the ball where you don't think they have an opportunity to get a touchdown. So it's that fear factor there. It's like 9 times out of 10, like they're going to score if he has the ball. So if I'm the Eagles, one, I know we need to force turnovers. We have to be winning in the turnover battle. If the Eagles and the Chiefs both do not turn the ball over, 9 times out of 10, the Chiefs are going to win. If the Eagles force, are +2 on the turnover board, then overall I feel like the Eagles have a chance to win it. And then with that being said, they have to also take away the timing. So they definitely do got to feed Saquon, to be honest. And I don't think those big explosive plays are going to be, you know, important, to be honest. I really feel like he got to chew the clock. He has to constantly get like 5 yards and 7 yards, or necessarily like maybe one breakout of like 10 to 15 yards. but they actually need to have, probably like 10 play drives, literally almost not like most of the time, because if you score with if you score in 20 seconds, I don't think that's a threat. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't do anything. It just gives Mahomes the ball like right back ASAP as soon as possible. So with me, it's just more so time of possession. Like the time of possession has to be heavy on the Eagles side, and then they also have to force turnovers as well.
I think it's important to know too that Philly has not turned the ball over in this postseason. And I think overall throughout the season they have 10 takeaways. So now we're gonna flip the switch now. What does Kansas City have to do to if they want to win this game versus Philly? We start whoever start first. It don't matter.
Yep. Go ahead, Mel.
I it's pretty much the same. Like you defensively, if you're the Eagles and you want things to go in your favor, but since we're talking about Kansas City, if you're Kansas City and you want things to go in your favor, first thing you got to do is keep Patrick Mahomes off the turf. That's first and foremost. Your offensive line, he's been sacked this year more than he has since he's entered the league. You have to protect him. I don't care what y'all got to do, who y'all got to hire, what kind of sniper rifle need to be used.
Wait for
You
all that,
have
man.
you have to keep Patrick Mahomes upright. Number two, you have to establish the run. Like you have not been able to run the ball effectively all year. The problem teams are having with you is they can't stop your quarterback. And that is a problem within itself because we've seen what happens when you have great quarterbacks with no running game. Dan Marino is a prime example of that because Dan Marino never had the running back he deserved. And yet his release was so quick. You couldn't sack him like you wanted to. And that's why people were mad and taking shots at him because you couldn't hit him. Mahomes is the same thing. He's got Kareem Hunt, but this is not the Kareem Hunt from the very first Super Bowl. This is Kareem Hunt. Time is caught up with him. He's still strong. Don't get me wrong, still strong, still a tough back. But is this going to be the same effective Kareem Hunt we've all known to be? I don't know.
See,
So
with
we
me,
have to look at that, and the run game has to be established regardless of what happens, and then you have to keep Mahomes upright. You do those two things, your offense is going to be perfect because you always going to have Kelsey. You got Pacheco. You just got to keep him upright.
see me, man. I kind of disagree. More so if I'm the Chiefs, kind of like the difference between the Eagles and the Chiefs is quick and explosive plays. If the Chiefs literally come out and hit a bomb touchdown and you're the Eagles, you're damn near nervous. You're freaking nervous. You know what I'm saying? Like if the Chiefs go up 14-0, you can pretty much count the game is over because 9 times out of 10, that automatically eliminates Saquon Barkley in the run game because they're going to be so
Why?
pressured. 14-0, they're going to be thinking about points. They're going to be trying to figure out like how they're going to come back and get down this field ASAP.
If you're
Uh,
down 14-0 and early in the first, that's not a reason to panic. I've been
yeah.
down 14-0 and we've come back and won games. So if it was,
You got to think of who we're going against here because, like
I
I
know
said,
who we going against, and
Patrick Mahomes
there's nothing that
going
says
with
you
points.
can't come back from that.
Yeah.
There's really nothing that says you can't come back from that early in the first quarter.
I say that because one, the Eagles are going to pride themselves on the run game. Like everyone knows 1,010% that if they want to win, Saquon has to be the guy. So realistically, if the Chiefs go their first two possessions and score a touchdown, Eagles get a 3 and out, man, your palms are sweaty if you're an Eagles fan, very sweaty, because no way the Eagles are going to be thinking about nickel and diming and trying to make it down the field. They're going to be thinking explosive plays as well. You know, trying to force the ball to AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and those guys. You know, like so. Realistically, if I'm the Chiefs, man, if I get out to a good, if I separate myself in the beginning, Saquon is pretty much eliminated from the game. Um, and then also if I'm the Chiefs, I really want our defense to show up. You know, specifically McDuffie at cornerback, shutting down AJ Brown, and Chris Jones, our guy. You know, being a consistent pressure to Jalen Hurts and making him actually run. You know, making him a threat. He's actually a little nicked up, as we all know. So if we can get Jalen Hurts to run outside the pocket, then chances is, and not to put injury on anybody, chances are, he's going to have nagging injuries that's going to affect, his play.
I think for Kansas City to win this battle, it's going to have to start in the red zone. Philadelphia ranks 12th in the regular season in red zone offense. Kansas City's defense ranks 8th in red zone offense.
I would never understand that.
Huh?
So I would never understand that.
I don't either. But hey, in the red zone with the tush push and everything like that, you got Saquon Barkley. You're going to have to figure out a way to disguise some coverages, especially when it gets inside the 20, and you're going to have to keep Jalen Hurts guessing. I think a lot of things they like to do, you're going to have to try to at least attempt some kind of pressure on Hurts. You might have to be a little blitz heavy and keep that man running for his life. Because, I mean, Jalen Hurts is one of the most poised quarterbacks in the NFL. And Eagles probably have one of the best offenses in the NFL. I think you're going to have to, when they get in the red zone, you're going to have to win those red zone battles.
Man, let's be real here. In order for Kansas City to win, Taylor Swift has to at least show up on the Jumbotron 5 times.
What's the over and under? Literally, there's a bet. There's a bet.
We know there's a bet. But I'm saying
how many times she goes.
I don't care how many times. Like 5 real times, she's got to be on the Jumbotron for like longer than 10 seconds. Like that's it. 5 real times, 10 seconds apiece. That's how
Taylor Swift drops a new album as soon as the game is over. And if Kansas City wins and Taylor Swift drops a new album as soon as the game is over, then we already know the fix is in. No, I'm just joking. But
realistically, Taylor Swift has to show up on the Jumbotron 5 times.
Yeah, you're going
to. That's how the Chiefs are going to win this game.
Yeah, this is going to be.
He will be shown at least 3 times. I know 5 is a little healthy, but 3 times, I'm banking on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go around the NFL right now, man. We got to talk about right here in our city, Cleveland, Ohio. Myles Garrett earlier this week requested a trade, says he wants out of Cleveland. If Myles Garrett was to leave and we traded him, what do you think are the next? I said pick your 3 next best destinations. We'll just go with one. What's your Mel? Where do you see Myles going? If
I will give you 3 destinations, and they all make sense. The first one is Pittsburgh, and the reason I'm
that Steelers fan talking.
This is not a Steelers fan
talking. Absolutely, don't see it. Don't make sense. Would not even work.
See, here's the thing. Like you thinking of this as fandom, I'm thinking of this as realistic. There's a number that defensively he has not been able to reach, and that number has been attached to TJ Watt. Now, if you're Mike Tomlin, defensively, you run a 3-4, and you are very schematic on what you do. And there is a method to your madness. You have Micah Parsons in the backfield. You got Joey Porter on the corner. If you have TJ Watt as a stand-up linebacker, which is his natural position, and he's behind or on the other side of Myles Garrett, if you're an offensive coordinator, what do you do? How do you protect how do you protect Joe Burrow? How do you protect Lamar if you see that? That's the first scenario. The second scenario, I can see him in Detroit because Detroit's front seven, if you line him up with Aiden Hutchinson, it's going to cause problems. Those two are very defensive heavy teams, and the defense has carried those teams. Not saying that golf is out of it because golf is still a hell of a quarterback, but defensively, the Lions defense has carried that team. It, it's that defense has looked better than it's looked even when Barry was there. So Pittsburgh, Detroit, the third team I could see him going with, ironically, if it's gonna pain me to say this, but I can actually see him in Philadelphia. If the deal makes sense for Philadelphia, I could see that. Because now if you're Philadelphia, you don't even have to worry about the NFC anymore because who's gonna stop Miles? You're already in the Super Bowl because of your defense. You add this piece to the table, man, somebody getting hurt. You Michael Penix, Golf, you hope y'all don't see him. Like you better hope they can't figure something out to make a deal work. But those are the three destinations I can see. And it's not fandom talking. I'm looking at this as a defensive coordinator, what I could do with the pieces around him. And the pieces around him in Pittsburgh make sense. The pieces around Detroit make sense. And the pieces in Philadelphia make sense because all of those give Miles the freedom to do what he does, which is wreak havoc on quarterbacks.
Well, I would tell you, one of those destinations makes zero sense. The relationship between and this could be fandom if you call it that, but I just don't think the relationship from Cleveland to Pittsburgh will ever, what I'm saying, be respected on Miles' end. Like I don't, I think he has too much love for Cleveland to ultimately, you know, go over to Pittsburgh.
Money
Like
talks.
you may
Money
say that,
money
but I
talk. I've
don't think
seen it.
that.
I've
You know,
seen it. Money talk bullshit walk.
but as in for me, the people that I actually see, uh, the teams that I actually see Miles Garrett actually going to, one is, you know, the Washington Redskins. To be honest, those guys, man, just by drafting Jaden McDaniels, they literally flipped their entire, organization right there. And what I seen, in those playoffs games is that they had some young guys, what I'm saying, that was hungry, but they didn't have no true vet that could really get after the pass and make, the offensive QB sweat. And I feel like that division in itself, have star-studded DNs, that makes, them propel themselves. Like this is why, the Cowboys are always talked about because of Michael Parsons. This is why the Eagles are pretty much in the championship because of Jalen Carter and them. So I feel like they need somebody like Miles to come over there and give those two guys a run for their money. My second one is, to be honest, the what are they named? The Rams. The Rams. They actually, they are proving that they are consistent winners. And the only thing that's different from the Rams now versus when they won the championship is their defensive line. They just got a guy who just won Rookie of the Year for defense. So if they can put Miles on the other side of him, that would be scary. And then of course, Matt Stafford, he's just proven to be a winner with Sean McVay as the coach. And then my final destination is still in Cleveland. I don't see Myles Garrett actually leaving the Cleveland Browns. Like I actually still feel like that is the best place for Myles Garrett because this is where he actually thrived. And you know, why would you necessarily? I understand he wants to be a Super Bowl contender or he wants the chances of, chasing a ring. But to be honest, I don't think that a team like any team that he goes to other than like those top contenders that's in the playoffs right now is going to change. So I think him staying with the Browns or the Rams or him going to the Rams and the Washington Commanders would probably be his best fit.
All right. Before I let you start, Mel, I'm just name my three that just, and then I'm gonna let y'all battle it out.
I don't want to battle, man. I'm too tired to battle. I will say Njoku did plead his case, so with him and the relationship him and Njoku have, it is possible. But if he's serious about winning the Super Bowl, it's gonna be hard to keep him.
I don't think who do Pittsburgh have on the offensive side?
Pittsburgh really just needs an offensive coordinator for real, for real. They found a better offensive coordinator. And I've been saying this, man. Once I saw that Pittsburgh hired Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator, I was like, damn. But before we even get into that,
and a wide receiver.
Let me get into we're gonna talk about that. All right, so my first team I could see him going to, I really could see Myles Garrett going to Dallas. I definitely could see him going to Dallas. I mean, I think him and Micah Parsons on that front seven is going to pose as a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams in the NFC. I think they could do something scary. My second team I could see him going to that's probably going to be a threat. I could see with what Washington is building right now, I could definitely see him in Washington on that defensive line. With him, Chase Young, that front seven is going to be scary. And then my third team, maybe, just maybe, not Buffalo, not Baltimore. I ain't even think of a third one for real, but I know Dallas, Washington, and then my third one just might be, let's just go shits and giggles. Let's just say he does decide to go to Buffalo.
You're right. That is a giggle.
That is
that is definitely a giggle.
Myles Garrett in the Bills uniform. Listen, stranger things have happened in the NFL. So
you're right.
You never know. You never know.
Absolutely. I am not even going to disagree with you on that one. We have all seen some weird shit happen in the NFL, but that one right there is definitely a giggle because just off of the strength of GP, I think it'd be a fight over publicity. Like who's going to be the bigger star? And Josh, they're not going to let Josh just get outshined by a Cleveland player.
Of course not.
So, but I will play devil's advocate, and I will say this. Do I think it's a ploy? I do not. Because this man, as we've all been on the field, this man's given his body year in, year out. He's played hurt, he's played sick, and he's got to show for it is a bad call in Kansas City, which cost him the AFC Championship essentially.
Yeah.
If there is a number they throw at him and he stays, it's all gonna be decided on what happens with this Deshaun Watson situation. Do I want him to leave as a football fan? No, I do not. Because when I've been saying this for years, even though people don't want to believe it, but when the Browns are doing good, the NFL is doing good.
Mhm.
And that has been proven. But if he leaves, you will be in the rebuild for the next 5 years because there is no way you can find anybody in free agency or in the draft that's going to replace what he did defensively.
That
So
I
I,
agree with.
so for Andrew Berry's sake, I'm hoping he can come up with a number that makes him stay. I'm hoping he comes up with a deal for whatever kind of players they can get in the draft. Like they have draft capital.
How do you feel about Andrew Berry and his draft, man?
He's hit and miss. Like
Mhm.
realistically, a lot of those guys are not his picks.
Yeah,
Baker was not his pick. Chubb was not his pick. Those were all Dorsey guys.
yeah.
Shit, they it seem like they all whoever
Lucy,
did pick Baker and Chubb, that's the one they need to stick with. Because
Well,
Barry,
unfortunately, they did not stick with Dorsey,
nope.
and you see where Dorsey's building up somebody else right now. But realistically, like I said, this is gonna be Barry's defining moment.
This year,
The
huh?
year this year is gonna be his defining year because you have draft capital, even though you gave up a lot. And realistically, you gave up a lot money wise. You didn't give up a lot draft wise. You gave up a lot in terms of the money you can pay people that you absolutely need. Like even with all the injuries, Denzel Ward still one of the top corners in the league. David
God,
Njoku,
Miles
David
Garrett, they
David Njoku has turned into a top 10 tight end secretly, even though people don't want to believe it. Njoku's
yeah,
been one of the better tight ends the last 3 years. If Andrew Berry screws this draft up and does not get the draft needs, which is realistically quarterback and offensive line, I could see Berry getting fired this year. I
guys,
just
we were literally everyone in the beginning of the year was saying the Browns could literally make it to the Super Bowl. Like I don't, we cannot just like think that we're that horrible or we're that far away. And that's what I want we people to understand as far as like with Miles Garrett, as far as Miles Garrett goes. Like we were literally picked to be like a team that could be a contender. The year before that, we our defense was our strong suit, led by Miles Garrett, and we walked into the playoffs with Joe Flacco, who literally just what I'm saying one
and
comeback.
Flacco throws the game.
Yeah,
Flacco
exactly. But I'm
Flacco
saying
throws the game away.
yeah, but I'm saying that to say is like you know I don't think we need to start really tearing the Browns down right now because you know we're ultimately like two things away from the Browns being contenders realistically. And this is not to be delusional, but this is to be real. Like we're literally like you said, an offensive lineman away and
Actually, you're
a
not a
quarterback.
offensive lineman away. You're 5 away because and I'm not saying that to be
that
funny.
entire O line.
I'm not saying that to be funny. Like realistically, the Browns offensive line has not been the last 3 years has not been what they everybody thinks it is. You've got beat up old linemen, one that shouldn't even be playing or should not have been playing as early as he did, but Jedrick Wills, you got plug and play. You are about four, I'll give you four offensive linemen away
That's
from
just
being at least a contender for the division. Because that's one thing that if you look at it, when Baker left, it was one thing that got Baker hurt. You can't protect your quarterback. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna be very. You can still
the
win.
running back. The
Obviously,
running
because
back
obviously
kind of
Patrick
makes the
Mahomes is
offensive
doing it.
line, though. To be honest, the running back makes the offensive line. If you don't have, we didn't have Nick Chubb's back there. With Nick Chubb back there, we were pretty much they were saying we were one of the best offensive linemen.
Nick
So,
Chubb, Bobby Chubb, Chubb. It don't matter. You still got
and
to
now,
protect your quarterback when it's time to pass.
Mhm. I
God,
agree.
go ahead.
I'm not. Hey, look, you talking to somebody that's been on teams with no offensive line. I am going to be the first one to tell you running the ball. I don't give a shit about running the ball as a receiver. I don't give a shit about running the ball. If it's time to pass, if it's 3rd and 13 and we need to throw the ball, our quarterback better be standing up looking for us. And if he's not able to stand up and look for us, it's a problem. And that's been the problem for the Browns the last 3 years. You can't protect. Think about how bad your offensive line has to be when your quarterback gets hurt on a non-contact injury.
Damn.
Watson was not hurt.
I would
Watson
say
wasn't hurt on a hit. He was trying to run because he knew and he saw the danger that was coming.
I
And
watched
he
that
tore
play.
his Achilles.
That was a QB draw. That was a QB draw.
And
And
they
he
weren't going.
literally just
He
snapped.
wasn't going to go anywhere. If you look at how that play developed, he was getting tackled in the backfield. But I digress. I think you are 4 offensive linemen away. And realistically, I have not understood why no team in the NFL has done this, not even the Steelers. There is a league, because I know we got to move on, but there is a league. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. Rico, you might have. It's called the UFL. Why don't you rent these linemen for a ridiculously cheap price? And if it works out, you can pay these guys. Because realistically, if you are looking for linemen, and as we've seen the last 5 years, every team is always looking to bolster up their offensive line. Why not get them from the UFL?
I think that's what they working on. They in the process of because
Man,
I
look,
was thinking the UFL is sort of kind of like the UFL to me, the UFL to the NFL is what the G League is to the NBA, I think, in a lot of cases. You see a lot of players that they're picking up from the UFL, bringing them to the end, like Brandon Aubrey, matter of fact, the kicker from the Birmingham Stallions that signed with the Cowboys. He's one of the best damn kickers in the NFL right now, low key. And
he is. He is.
I think personally, I kind of agree. I think a lot of NFL, you're seeing more and more UFL players making a name for themselves in the NFL, low key. So I agree with everything you're saying.
They should. And I've been waiting on the Steelers to do that for the longest. Like, bro, we got a beat up offensive line. There is no reason why you can't pick 5 guys from Birmingham. You can't pick up Birmingham's offensive line because obviously Birmingham knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Birmingham. The won what 4 straight UFL
Man,
titles. Ain't nobody else sniffed the damn things. They came back.
you
It's been all Stallions. Like, damn,
oh,
man.
I do got to give a shout out to a friend of the show while we're talking about the UFL, as Joe Powell has been
Yeah.
he signed back with Arlington, so we'll be
Okay.
talking to him soon. But outside of that, Birmingham has been the top. They've top quarterback, top offensive line. You better get them. Man, look, I got 500,000 for all y'all. Y'all come play for the Steelers. It's not that hard for Rooney to say, man.
You got the money, man. So now with Myles Garrett potentially wanting out, there have been talks where I saw a Facebook post where they said Denzel Ward may want out if Myles Garrett gets traded. And I just want to give my thoughts before I give the floor to y'all. I kind of understand a little bit why. I really think, and this ain't just the Browns, this is any organization in any league. So whether that's NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, doesn't matter. I think players are just tired of wasting their careers on teams that aren't winning. They're tired of it. I mean, Myles Garrett's not getting any younger. Denzel Ward's not getting any younger. A lot of these players just aren't getting any younger, and they're tired of putting their heart and their body on the line and not getting nothing in return for it. So, suppose the Browns do trade Myles Garrett, and Denzel decides, yo, I want out too. How would y'all feel about him leaving?
I'm not too mad about. I wouldn't be too mad in terms of Denzel Ward. Sometimes it seems like Denzel doesn't even really play. And he's a Ohio native, man. Shout out to Nordonia. I know some guys out there, but you know, as far as Denzel Ward goes, it seems like and it may sound crazy. It seems like, man, these cornerbacks now, like you can find a diamond in the third and fourth round, man. As far as corners goes, and it'd be for cheap. So I feel like a cornerback is a little bit more easier to replace, and I also feel like Emerson, even though he did have a down year this year, I think he's a really solid cornerback, and he can probably just take the next step into being, a number one cornerback, But like now these D ends though, and not to go back to Miles, but like it's hard. It's hard to find those generational guys as far as the ends go. But for Denzel, I give him all respects, and I would wish him luck on his next journey if he does leave. But like I said, I don't even. I can I'm trying. I should look. I should have looked this up, but I don't even think Denzel has played a full season. In the NFL for real, for real. Like he's
Yeah.
always getting nicked up and missing like 2 games, 3 games, and I'm okay with that.
I'm torn on this because as a DB, I would not be okay with this. Now let's look at reality. Miles has been a big contributing factor to Denzel's success when it comes to interceptions, putting pressure on the
Exactly.
quarterback.
Facts.
Um, Denzel's style of play is what's taken him out of most games for a season because he's got that Bob Sanders in him. And for those that don't know or gonna watch this later, Bob Sanders was that dude when he was healthy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Realistically, I would not be mad at Denzel wanting out. I would understand it because again, Denzel top 10 corner in the league. He's not, and it's generational. So we haven't seen this since Revis, since Dion, since Charles Woodson, where we've seen a true lockdown corner to the point where he's going to give Pacheco, Kelsey, if Kelsey's lined up on, he's not going to give anybody like a fit. He's not going to scare Mahomes into throwing to the other side of the field. But he is still at a point in his career where when he's healthy, he's dangerous. So for those fans and those people that are saying, well, these guys are just, wanting out, but you got to understand, as players, there is one guy that has been undefeated throughout the course of every sport, and that is Father Time.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So when Father Time catches up to you and he is on your back, you have to think about what's best for you. And what's best for Miles, what's best for Denzel is to find, and I'm not saying they're going to leave, but what's best for them is to find somewhere where their career is going to take that upward turn towards a championship. You can't do that here. And it's not their fault. I realistically would have to blame upper management. I would have
Oh,
to
yeah.
blame the Haslams. I would have to blame Barry because some of these decisions they've not turned what you would say a profit. And the profit would be being in the playoffs, getting to the AFC championship. Haven't been to one of those since the late 80s. Haven't won the division in even longer. You got to think about yourself as a player. And I can't say I'm mad at Denzel if that does happen because Denzel has been a contributing factor to his success. Would I be mad as a fan? Yes, because tired of seeing these players move and then I got to go buy another jersey. But realistically, I have to understand he's got to do what's best for his career.
All right. Now that we got that all set up, man, we're gonna move on. We got two more things. This thing right here, man. Y'all watched the Pro Bowl games last week?
I did not.
Me
I
neither.
didn't
I have
either.
not. I have not watched the Pro Bowl. Anything that says Pro Bowl attached to it, and I don't know how long. I have not. Matter of fact, the only time I even think about playing the
Highlights.
Pro Bowl is on Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, bruh.
I watched the highlights for sure.
I didn't even sniff
I didn't
that
even
far.
watch the highlights, bro. Man, why is the Pro Bowl so doo doo, man?
Do you want me to be honest, or do you want me to be politically correct?
Don't be politically correct. We say what we want on here. We don't care
I
about who.
blame Roger Goodell.
I do too.
I blame him. And the reason I blame him is because he is taking the fun out of football. I'm not talking about the rule changes for player safety. We all knew that was coming eventually. But when you start taking a traditional game, mind you, this was a game that was pretty much a vacation for everybody that made the Pro Bowl. This game was played in Hawaii at Aloha Stadium. This game was still played as a football game. Like there was a murder during the game where Sean Taylor killed the punter. I mean, come on. Like this you had this game was meant to be the last football game. Now you're playing this game a week before the Super Bowl. It's terrible. It's not fun. Like why are you turning this into something that it doesn't need to be, which is absolute shit. And I blame him for this because he's been the one spearheading taking fun out of football, professional football. There's no reason for the Pro Bowl to be what it is now, which is absolute nothing.
Two-hand tag.
Yeah, I would say, man, nowadays, players are more cautious, you know what I'm saying, with their approach to the game, and now everybody is just worried about getting hurt, realistically, and then that being opportunity for them to lose money. So I think it's more so. I don't even want to blame Roger Goodell. I want to blame the players, because it's like they don't care about the fans anymore. It's more so it's more so about themselves. When it comes to the Pro Bowl, like I remember, even I'm probably, like I said, I'm a little bit younger than you guys, but you know even though the playoffs, I mean, even though the Pro Bowl came before the Super Bowl, there was times where players were still serious about standing up for their division on which division was stronger, versus AFC or NFC. And now it's just like that doesn't even matter, like none of
And that's because I strongly feel like that's because Roger Goodell has made an emphasis on
Player safety.
player safety when we all know we've all signed like I keep saying we signed up for this, so we already know this is a contact. There's no way you can avoid contact in this sport
exactly.
unless you're just that much of a sissy that you just screaming from the bleachers. Realistically, you know what you signed up for. It's not going to change anytime soon. So if you're going to kill the sport, this would be the way to do it because this is not the Pro Bowl I grew up on, and I refuse to like you see the viewership. It's not even fun to watch.
It's not.
So yeah, Gardell, you might want to change that, sir. I
The stars don't want to show their talents though.
Why
Like
would I? Why
that.
would I?
That's
Why
the
why would I
scary
want
thing.
to?
They don't want to. They don't want to show like if they're really one of the best. I feel like they don't want to show if they really one of the best. You know what I'm saying, at their position anymore. Like I remember, like I said, like I remember a time when Ray Lewis was in a Pro Bowl and people were knew like he was the guy. Like, and then it was Brian Urlacher on the other side, and people was like they knew he was the guy. Like now I don't even know like if these guys are really like the guys anymore. Like it's more so just uh I'm a dog in my division, so that's good enough for me. You know, like no one. I don't. A lot of people. It doesn't seem like no one wants to proclaim that number one spot. Like
because there's no value in it anymore, and that
It's
that goes
that's
back
the
to,
problem.
but
it's
that goes back to
Software.
management. No, that goes back to management. What are you doing as a commissioner to make this game fun again?
you
What are
know
you doing to draw these players in to say I'll show up?
it's that you got a point there. You got a point there. I really just think it's a two-way street. I agree with both of y'all. I do blame Roger Goodell because he flipped it. You know, the Pro Bowl the week before the Super Bowl. No, like I don't like that. And I understand what you're saying as far as the players, you know, not showing up, you know, worried about getting hurt. Um, I understand it from both sides. My whole take on it is nobody. I don't know why the Pro Bowl is doo doo, man. It just
But it's the
is.
It's
same things happening in the NBA too as well. Like
Yeah.
the stars don't want to show up anymore. Like
But
that's
then again, I
that's the
understand
new
why
world.
they kind of don't
well
want to show up because it's like
in the NBA is
when you
different.
get
Like
paid money, you like listen, you don't know what could happen. I gotta get the bag now. I gotta
Yeah.
secure the bag. I gotta make sure moms, dads is taken care of, wife, kids, whatever. So a meaningless game, not I'm not calling it meaningless. That may be how they feel, but
That's
I'm not
exactly
gonna
how
risk getting hurt, you know what I'm saying, and messing this bag up. Because coming out of college, you could be a first round draft pick worth $1 million, but then you mess around and get hurt in a preseason game, and then your stock go down and you ain't worth a dime no more. And it's like, well, damn, you know. So
we don't know how to play
understand,
football anymore.
huh?
That's basically what that's saying. That we don't know how to play football anymore. Then
True, true.
I think because every sport is different, and I'm sticking with that. I'm gonna stand on that one. Every sport is different. Our generation of talent in the NBA, LeBron's essentially the last one. KD, Westbrook to a degree, Clay, Steph, they're on their way out. LeBron's about to be 49 come the end of this season. You know, so I don't expect those guys in the NBA to say, "All right, I'll do it." They don't have to. They did it enough. LeBron did it for 20 years. In the MLB, everybody's changing teams so much. We don't even know who's going to be all-star by the time. We don't even know what the starting lineup's going to look like for most teams
True,
come
agree.
opening day.
true.
I definitely agree with baseball.
It's and with MLS, Messi's the last one. If you really think about it, Messi's the last one. So once he leaves, we're gonna have to wait for a whole new generation to pop up. I think with Goodell in the NFL, I think he focused so much on what do we do to bring in sponsors? What do we do to bring in new viewers?
Mm-hmm.
He forgot that this game is what brings in viewers. Like
People gonna
realistically,
tune in regardless. Keep it simple.
yes,
Why are you
and
trying to reinvent the
realistically,
wheel?
like realistically, up until I'll say up until 2010, for real, this was the last football we was ever gonna get for what 6 months. The last game we were gonna get for 6 months till
Hmm.
August.
Mm-hmm.
So why change it? Why put this game a week before the Super Bowl, bro? No one's gonna care. No one's gonna care. Put it back where it was. Let's start there. Put it
Hmm.
back where it was, which was the very last game of the season, because you can't play this game during the season. Number two, if you're gonna turn it into a flag
Here's
situation,
the thing though, but it's always been like even though it was before the Super Bowl, like okay, you know what other player who is it affecting besides the two teams that's going to make it to the Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? So why is it still
it's
you
gonna
know?
affect a lot because realistically, I want to see Travis Kelsey in the Pro Bowl. I don't want to see the replacement. as much as I like
dogs too, we cannot.
it, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But the Pro Bowl was star powered.
Yeah.
The Pro Bowl was star powered. When Sean Taylor made that Pro Bowl, everybody tuned in because you wanted to see Sean Taylor take somebody's head off. And he did that. He killed a punter. You sacrificed the kicker, essentially, just for a great game. I don't want to see the second. Well, okay, I'll give you Andrews, but I don't want to see the third, fourth, fifth guy behind that. I want to see star power in this game. I want to see, I want to see Goff and Hurts, try to make the AFC and Mahomes look bad. I
Yeah.
don't want to see a flag football. If I wanted to see a flag football game, I can go down the street and see that. I could go to Lost Nation. Right. I can go to Lost Nation. I can go to the West Side and see that. I want to see Myles Garrett body slam a quarterback just for the last part of this, for the last game of the season. Let me see him dog walk somebody one more time.
And if you get hurt, you get hurt. F it. This is what you signed up for.
It's the last game of the season anyway.
Well, I'm about to say, you going to plenty of time to
get
rehab.
Reward. Like, you get acknowledged, like, okay. Patrick Mahomes, I feel like he's supposed to get acknowledged. He's acknowledged for making the Super Bowl. Like, maybe we don't need to see the number, and that's why I go back to that thing. Like, no one wants to be the number one, don't want to be the number one guy anymore. Like, they don't really care that much. So it's like with Patrick Mahomes, he's proven that he's the number one guy, so he doesn't need to go to the Pro Bowl and risk showing his talents and showing people why he should be that and why he's that guy, versus everybody else. Like, they think they're proclaiming themselves as that person as well, and they haven't really done anything. That's why, like, in the Pro Bowl, it's supposed to stars. You're right, stars are supposed to be against stars, and then that number one guy is supposed to get that pass, not everybody else.
I think we need to put Roger Goodell on the field one good time.
Put a helmet on him.
Put a helmet on him. Fuck a senior hit daddy. We're just gonna put him on the field. He get hit.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst that could happen?
Right. All right, y'all. So now we're gonna close it out, man. Final topic. Who wins tonight's game and why? I'm going
my
with
heart.
Philly.
My heart says Philly, but my mind is being realistic. Kansas City, first team to three-peat in the Super Bowl era. As much as I don't want to see it, it's gonna have to happen at some point, and this would be the perfect time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yep. To be honest, it's Philly has to be perfect in order to win, and I don't see it happening. It's Patrick Mahomes' Super Bowl to lose.
Okay.
It's literally his Super Bowl to lose. Even if he starts all bad, man, I feel like they still have an opportunity. If the Eagles start off bad, it's over with. They gotta ride this momentum the whole game. And it's hard to hold on to momentum the entire game. So I'm going with the Chiefs to three-peat as well.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, man. I'm gonna go Philly.
It's gonna be tough.
I just want to be an asshole. That's the only reason I'm picking Philly.
If Philly wins, this is gonna help the running backs in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna
I don't agree with that.
I think running backs are listen, Derrick Henry, what he did in Baltimore this season, Saquon Barkley, what he did in Philly, hell, what Bijan Robinson did in Atlanta. I really think the running back position, these NFL, listen, if you got a quarterback that can run and throw, and you got a solid running game, I think this is the direction that NFL offenses are going in moving forward. Yeah, that's just my whole thing.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, if Philadelphia Eagles win this Super Bowl, the running back position will start to get credit again because lately, these guys have been getting. This is why Saquon is with the Eagles because the Giants didn't see value in a running back. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
And
And
it's
this
pay and
whole
they've paid for it. That's why I
yeah,
don't agree with it. That's
you
why I
said
don't
what?
agree with that sentiment. The running back is so necessary because there's three
Yeah,
positions on offensively, there's three positions on the field that you absolutely need. Offensive line, quarterback, running back. If you don't have a running back, you cannot help your quarterback. If you don't believe me, look at Tua. Can
I
anybody tell me who's Tua's running back?
Well, actually, yes, I can. Raheem Morris and David Achen. Those guys actually had a solid year.
They had a
Not this
solid
year,
year, but here's the
last.
thing. They had a solid year, but again, when you can't run the ball, what happens to your quarterback?
All the pressure goes on him, and
So
then
what has been happening to Tua?
RP to that
Don't
man.
worry, I'll wait.
Yeah, he's getting killed. He's
So
getting.
you look at all the great quarterbacks who are in the Hall of Fame right now, they've
It's
had
going to
solid
boost the
running
money
backs.
value, man. I'm telling you, the run.
The
If
money is already
Saquon,
there. The owners are just stupid. That's just how I feel about it. I'm not even gonna
yeah,
say I'm being honest. That's my true feelings on it. The
you can say
owners are being stupid
they're trying to
because
be cheap.
yeah, because if you look at every great quarterback, they've had a great running back. Jim Kelly had Thurman Thomas. Ben had the bus. Steve Young had William Floyd, Ricky Waters. And outside of Jim Kelly, two of those or one of them have a running back or two of them have Super Bowl rings.
Mm-hmm.
So why is that the position any different from any other position on the field? Because that is a position that's a need. If you can't run the ball, you are going to be a quarterback who is literally running for his life.
So you don't
I don't
think? Go ahead.
I don't think that I don't think that sentiment has any merit because again, every great quarterback has a great running back.
Do you not think the value of the running back goes up if the Eagles win?
Honestly, I don't think that changes anything. Reason I don't think it changes anything is because this again is a position that is a need. With the evolution of the way the game is going and is going in the passing game, you can't throw 50 times without running the ball.
Yeah.
So why do you devalue this position just because you feel like, not you, but like the owners, you feel like it's not a needed position. But if you look at it again, yeah, you have Morris and Mostert with Tua, but when they're not on the field, what happens to Tua? What happens to your franchise quarterback? He dead.
I would say so. Our Let's think about all our Super Bowl winners. Tampa Bay, right? They had
Leonard Fournette.
Fournette. Uh,
Fournette, and
we
Fournette was a bruiser.
Yeah, but he
He
wasn't technically one of the best, running backs in the league at the time. And then we got the Chiefs. These guys, and then the Rams as well. These guys that have won the championship. Really, we don't really know their running backs to be one of the best. In the league.
okay.
So that's why they disvalue. I feel like that's why the league
Let me
started to
ask.
value
I'm
them.
gonna ask this question, and I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah.
Does Lamar Jackson have the same success he had this year without Derrick Henry?
No, he does not.
Hell no.
That should show you everything you need to know right there. Because if he don't have Derrick Henry, I don't even think he wins the division. You got you they went out and got a space age robot with the stiff arm from God
Yeah.
to help out Lamar Jackson
Yeah.
because Dobbins was hurt. And look at the success he had. That should tell you how much of value the running back position really is. At 31 years old, Derrick Henry is still out here stiff arming dudes into another century.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Yeah,
with him and with him and Lamar Jackson in the same backfield, it caused so much of a problem to the point you would rather watch Lamar Jackson run with the ball than you would Derrick Henry.
All these are
DBs were out here making business decisions, not wanting to tackle Derrick Henry.
yeah.
That's how big of an impact Derrick Henry had this season. So if
But they
he's
didn't
not going,
win.
I can't say much about the winning part, but realistically, if Derrick Henry don't sign with Baltimore, does Lamar have the same success he had this year?
If Saquon doesn't sign with the Eagles, do the Eagles have the same success?
Right. I mean,
I said Lamar because realistically, that offense is one dimensional with Lamar without a running back. But
Yeah,
with Saquon, I don't think with Saquon, I think Saquon's situation was different because Daniel Jones was not the quarterback for him. This is call a spade a spade. Daniel Jones
oh
was not the quarterback for him that he needed. And Saquon was carrying that team. You see how they looked when he got hurt.
yeah,
They look stagnant as all shit. So realistically, Saquon's situation was different because Saquon is a back that is needed everywhere. Derrick Henry is a back that's needed everywhere.
yeah.
And without those two, since you brought him up, without those two, does that said quarterback have the same success? Are we talking about the Eagles in the Super Bowl?
We're arguing the same thing, but I just feel like this will solidify that the
I don't
running
think
back
I
is
think
back.
it was already solidified because I think owners are being selfish.
yeah.
Like I think owners have this thing where they think they can win without a certain piece, and it's been proven you can't.
Yeah,
It's been proven you can in Patrick Mahomes' case because it's Mahomes,
Patrick
but
Mahomes is once in a generation, so he don't even count.
exactly, he don't
He don't even
count.
count.
Can
I'm
Lamar
with,
Jackson have that same success? Can Josh Allen have that same success? I don't think they can
I
without a
think
good running back.
Tom Brady as well, guys. Like these past Super Bowls is the stars have been the QBs. You know, it's been the QBs. So
It's legit been a QB driven league over the last 40 years. It's
yeah.
just we can't help that.
Now I think like the power is shifting to where like guys are thinking like, oh, if we have a solid running back, and a mediocre, not to call Jalen Hurts mediocre, and a decent, QB, we can make it to the Super Bowl.
I mean, it's actually been true. If you look at Trent Dilfer,
Yeah.
he had Jamal Lewis. So like if you thought I love Trent, but if you thought Trent was gonna get you to the promised land, somebody told you wrong. He had two things going, Lewis and Jamal Lewis
yeah.
and Jermaine Lewis. So he
Yeah.
had three Lewises that helped him out. But if you thought he was gonna do that for the Ravens by himself, nah, it's
No.
not happening. Never.
Yeah.
Do you trust Trent Dilfer to take you to the promised land?
Why not? No, I'm just talking shit. What
Yeah,
about
I would like to hear that case.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm stepping it, guys. Chiefs 3-peat for sure. Patrick Mahomes solidifies himself as one of the GOATs. Well, he's already a GOAT, but he solidifies him as one of the GOATs, definitely for sure. I'll also say this: Patrick Mahomes will have more Super Bowls than Tom Brady when he retires.
Ah,
that
Yeah.
remains to be seen. I don't know. We'll
It
see.
will
yeah.
happen.
Because at
I
some point they're
gotta
gonna
say
have to break
Lyle
that team
Wayne.
up.
Yeah.
Huh?
At some point they're gonna have to break that team up.
They ain't got
Yeah.
to do it right
Let
now, but at
Wayne
some
go.
point, that team's gonna get broken up because I mean, you can't afford. They
You
ain't gonna
can't
be able
afford
to pay.
everybody.
Yeah, you can't afford everybody.
This will make 4. And you guys saying
It
he
would
got
make four, but again,
he got
it
10
would
more
make
years.
four. It would make four, but again, you can't keep everybody.
Yeah.
Agreed. He got 10 more years.
Money gonna come in at some point. As much as I'm gonna tell you right here, as much as I love to win rings,
Did he get the
Money.
500 million already? That's money. Only one.
Hey, there's only one player getting 500 million. I need my whole team to get 500 million.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you want him to reach 7, 8, 9, 10, I need my whole team getting 500 million. That ain't
yeah,
gonna happen.
Okay.
Now,
I
unless the
get-
salary cap jump, unless they say there's no salary cap like they do in baseball, then yeah, you got a shot. But
Mhm.
until
you're
that
gonna be
day,
able, shoot, you're gonna be able to pay the ball boys 500 million.
man, you can pay the ball boy $1 million and tell him go catch that field goal. But
Hey,
Yeah.
until that happens,
I'm in shape if they ever do that. I'll make sure every ball is protected.
but until that happens, I say they tie. That's they'll
Ty,
tie 7 apiece.
what you
I'll
think,
give them
Rico?
that.
uh, as far as how many rings he'll retire with, it depends on how long Andy Reid stays.
He's
Because
gonna
Andy
keep
Reid
that
not
up.
getting no younger,
Andy
and
Reid, Andy Reid don't look stressed out either. Andy Reid look
yeah,
like
that's
he
true.
played. Andy Reid puts me in the mind of Metallica. They're gonna be around forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He gonna be around forever,
yeah,
some
Andy
way, shape, or
Reid,
form.
and then uh, I think he'll match Brady. I think
Yeah.
he'll either match Brady or he'll come up one short. But he'll if Kansas City wins tonight, he'll be looked at as the first quarterback ever to three-peat in the NFL, which is at this point right now unheard of. No team
It
has
is.
ever won 3 straight Super Bowls. So I think he'll have that over Brady's head. Um,
If he has that over Brady's head, you can just chalk it at.
yeah, yeah, he'll be the
I
greatest
just
of
just
that.
just realistically, like just being realistic, like Brady can't say he did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brady can't say
He's gonna say he got
the
one
only
thing.
thing if he three-peats tonight, the only thing that he would be able to chase, which I think will be hard to do in this era, would be to go undefeated.
yeah.
That'd be the only thing left for Mahomes to chase.
If Mahomes go, listen, if the Chiefs go undefeated, they'll be the second team since the '72 Dolphins to do it. Then and only then will you'll probably have to look. Mahomes is the GOAT. 3 straight. That would be 4 straight Super Bowls. 4 straight Super Bowls, and the second team in NFL history to go undefeated in the modern era. Yeah,
In the
I
modern
mean
era, yes.
in the modern
But
era.
there have been undefeated teams, but the
There's
modern
been
era, yeah.
yeah, in the modern era. Then okay, Mahomes is the GOAT. Then he will be the GOAT.
He's
But
gonna
all of that remains to
be.
be seen, man. It's gonna be an interesting game, man. Mel, Dave, thank y'all so much for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate y'all, man. Tell them where they can find y'all.
Well, you guys can definitely, you guys can, if the header shows up, you guys can definitely find me on Instagram, 3_money motivation. Right now, not to promote myself, but right now,
Oh,
guys,
promote yourself.
Man,
That's
this
what
is
I'm saying.
shameless plug time, bro. You slipping.
Promote
exactly, baby.
yourself.
Right now, guys, spending the off season, tutoring kids because I feel like everybody kind of nearly do focus all on sports, but we really don't have the mindset, as far as understanding what it takes to become a Division I athlete. So it's student athlete first. Student comes first. So I want to make sure I'm helping kids actually reach that goal. And so yeah, you can find me on Instagram 3_money motivation. I'm a mentor right now to the youth, and I also coach middle school basketball. We just won our first playoff game yesterday. Blew the team out by like 21. So if you're a 7th and 8th grader and you're watching this, find me on Instagram because we're doing something big over there at St. Jerome's.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
Mel, 216 Sports Network, 4th and 15.
Yeah, you can catch us on all that. You can find us on Facebook, 216 Sports Network, YouTube, 216 Sports Network, Twitter. I'm still working on Twitter, but 216 Sports Network. Even on YouTube, 216 Sports Network. Check out 4th and 15 episodes. You can check out the news that's coming with a certain show we all grew up on. We check our live stream games coming up. we're gonna have it all for y'all this season, man. Season 2025, man. 2025.
Hopefully,
Live.
I'm a guest, guys, more and more. I like what you guys are doing, man. Shout out to Rico. It's nice meeting you this year, man.
For sure.
And,
Nice meeting you too, brother.
yeah, heck yeah, man. Hopefully, I can, earn a way to start working with you guys because I love the podcast thing and I love talking about sports.
I don't know if I can associate myself with Browns fans. You know what I'm saying?
We know Steelers don't make no sense, man.
You lucky you a Collinwood alumni, man. I don't know if I can associate myself with Browns fans, man. Make tarnish my reputation.
All I'm gonna do is,
I'm
hey,
gonna have to tell Wheeler about this one, man.
see, that's my guy too. That's so funny. That's my guy. Ask him about me. He's gonna
Yeah,
tell you.
I'm gonna ask him about you. I don't know about this Browns thing, man. But yeah, it was fun, man. I had a lot of fun with you guys. Hope to do this again because this is something interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't wait to see
Well,
how this one plays out.
I'm Rico McGee. Of course, you can follow the Rulers Minute on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe at Rulers Minute 216 on TikTok and Instagram. And Rulers Minute Show on YouTube, man. Thank y'all again, man. Super Bowl pre-show. Enjoy the game. I'm Rico McGee. This has been the Rulers Minute. And as always, we'll see you in a minute.
Peace.
All right. And recording.